everybody. Welcome to the next podcast in our podcast series for spine and rehab specialists. So today with me, I have Joey Gutierrez, our
Hello.
clinic manager, PT, here at the Edgemere location. And we are going to talk about summer. Okay, now what in the world does summer have to do with physical therapy? Yeah, good question. You'll find out. Stick around. So Joey, so what happens in the summertime?
Well,
Other than it gets hot.
We get more active. We get motivated to go out. We start doing stuff that we kind of didn't do when it was cold out.
So kind of like the weekend warrior syndrome, but then like for a longer period of time during the summer?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right? So whether you're off from, maybe you're a teacher at a school, so you have a longer period of time off, or maybe you just take 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks off during the summer, you're more likely to be active and do different kind of activities. So let's kind of go with some of these activities. Why don't we start with like some sporting activities? I know you're a baseball fan, play baseball. You have 2 kids, 2 sons, so they're not quite old enough to really play baseball, but there's definitely a chance that you're going out there and maybe playing around with them, a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I'll take my oldest. He's 3 years old, and we call it let's go play pitch.
Okay.
So he likes to throw me the ball, and I hit it, and he goes running after it. For whatever reason, he likes to do it right underneath the sun. I try to get him in the shade, and he's like, no, like right here's fine. So, he always wants to be in the sun. He loves being outside.
So that'll kind of bring up one thing, and it's not necessarily sport related, but being out in the sun, obviously you need to protect yourself, right?
Yes.
So wear sunscreen. In El Paso, we're pretty close to the equator, and really that sun beats down pretty hard.
Yes, and it doesn't take long to start feeling it and to start getting red. On that note, also stay hydrated.
Yeah, definitely.
Drink water. Drink lots of water, more than you're used to.
Yep, it's definitely, and I think that's deceiving, because we have a dry heat here in El Paso, so people don't necessarily notice that they're sweating all that much, so they don't think that they need to hydrate, but absolutely hydrate. And I know there's a lot of, drinks out there, whether it's Gatorade or, all these other drinks, but I think still, in my opinion, the best, form of hydration is
Water.
I agree, 100%.
And on that note, also we like to do a lot of activities that involve water, like swimming or getting on the splash pad and stuff like that. And oftentimes I hear that because they're doing that, they don't need to drink water. But on the contrary, like even though you're getting cooled from the water, the splash pad or the pool, you still need to hydrate because that sun is still beating you, and you're not drinking that water that you're playing in. So that's also like a misconception that I've heard in the past. So, I don't need to drink water because I'm swimming, or I'm on the splash pad, I'm wet. So, but
Actually, if you really look at some chemistry of the body, you're actually losing more water by being in the water, right? So, definitely. And then on top of that, a lot of times too, we may have a little drink while we're in the water. So then you're adding in alcohol, and alcohol does not count for hydration.
Oh, that drink. I thought you were talking about like drinking the water in the pool.
Yeah, hopefully you're not drinking the water in the pool.
Okay.
So some people may still
adults,
do that. Yeah, the adults having a little little fun drink in the pool. And again, that's great. I'm not saying you shouldn't do that, but don't count that as your hydration. Don't count that as water.
Correct.
Unless you're drinking Coors Light. That is only water. I knock on Coors Light. That's all right. So yeah, definitely. Now, when we go in, so we're, the person that's maybe sedentary throughout the year, sedentary job, and don't do that much on the weekends and it's summertime. How should we prepare for that? Especially, the people that are maybe not that young anymore, maybe that are not 20 anymore. So how should that weekend warrior, that summer warrior, prepare for being out there and being more active?
Take it light. Start off light. Start off with a brisk walk outside. Of course, you don't want to walk from the hours of like 11 to 5 p.m. You want to walk either in the mornings when it's cooler or when the sun's going down. I know during the summer the days are longer, so you do have that opportunity to walk later in the day, and pace yourself. Even though you used to be an athlete in high school, or you were in the military, or you were in team sports, and you're used to going hard, and you have that go hard or go home mentality. Yeah, after each year that passes, it takes a little bit to get into that, and it's easier to get into the injury, whether it's you pull your back, or you pull, or you strain a muscle, or anything. It's a little easier each year that passes to injure yourself. And we don't recover that fast.
I know. So, yeah, and definitely kind of take a cue from athletes, right? Athletes, even though they're in, they may be in great shape and they do this all the time, they warm up first, right? They do some light activities to kind of get into it, and then they go, do some stretching, and then they go into the main activity.
Yes.
So if you're out there, whether you're, and that's even if you go into the pool, or if you're, going out on the baseball field, softball field, don't think just start, pitching and hitting or throwing balls and everything. Warm up. Even, if you're just a weekend warrior, you're a very recreational athlete. There's a reason why athletes do this.
Yes.
So don't think that we can just go out there and just throw the ball as hard as we can and not get injured.
Mm-hmm. And not only talking about athletes, but like you're talking about the weekend warrior, I think that includes like going out and gardening, planting a new plant or putting new landscaping or throwing down rock. A lot of those activities involve us bending forward, and one of the ways that you were talking about stretching that will help is simply stretching backwards. And what I mean by that is standing up and rather than bending forward, you're bending backwards at the waist. You can put your hands on the small of your back and really use that to push your hips forward, because you're gonna be in that bent over position for a long period of time. So I've heard this in the past from different instructors: prime your spine for what's about to happen.
Yeah, I like that.
And so, it's just, and also during that time that you're bending over, once you start feeling that tightness in your back, that stiffness, stand up, bend backwards a few times and get back to it. But don't just go and go and go and go and ignore it and think, I'll be fine. And then a week later, you're still in discomfort.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what we see happening too a lot of times. It's like, okay, I'm going to work in the yard, so I'm just going to try to do everything. Like, why? Right? It's like, don't do it all at once, especially if you're not used to that. You're not a landscaper, so just, do a little bit at a time, take a break, when you need to. And it's okay if it needs to wait till tomorrow, right?
Yes. And keep drinking water.
Of course.
We're going to emphasize that a lot.
Absolutely. Is that before or after you put on the sunscreen?
Before and after.
Okay, all right, good. I can go with that. So, all right, so let's talk about something else that people do when they're, during the summertime. Travel, right? That's something else that, we're, more likely to travel, go on vacation, go visit family and everything. And, travel is pretty stressful. I've traveled a lot throughout my life, and I can tell you it's gotten a lot harder to travel. There's a lot more delayed flights and canceled flights and everything. So a lot of times we just spend a lot of hours in the airport or in the plane, and that does wreak some havoc on your back as well, right?
Definitely.
So what can we do for that?
Kind of like what I was talking about a little while ago is bending forward, sitting down for a long time. That all involves us anatomically bending forward, right? So our trunk is going forward in relation to our hips. Again, stand up and stretch backwards a few times. I know this is something that a lot of us don't do, but look up. That's a really good stretch for your neck, and that's an activity that we don't really do that much. So, and I know this sounds like very kind of common, but it seems like we forget to do that stuff. And I'm talking about myself too. I'll be in the airport. I'll go from flight to flight and really just getting from flight to flight. I did a long distance trip a few weeks ago, and I had to stop at every restaurant because I know, since I'm a physical therapist, but I knew I couldn't go and wait another hour in that same seated position. I had to stand up, do some back stretches, and I had all my family do that as well.
Yep, good.
And it just helped us get through without getting to our destination and being in pain.
Yep. So. Yeah, definitely if you're traveling in the car, just get out. Don't think you need to go gas station to gas station, and empty your whole, gas tank in between. Stop every hour and a half, 2 hours, doesn't matter where you go. So you may get there a little later, but you're on vacation anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you get there 15 minutes later or 20 minutes later than what you had planned. It really doesn't, make a difference. And then same thing in the airplane as well. I always love to get an aisle seat. Why? Because I want to get up and kind of want to walk around. I want to stretch. I don't mind if the person next to me, like, hey, I need to go to the bathroom. That's perfectly fine. I'll stand up and I can do a little bit of stretching and go on, because I do not want to sit that long. Of course, I've done a number of transatlantic flights over the years, going back home to the Netherlands, and those are long flights. I still want the aisle seat because I want to get up and stretch. And I think that's just something that people need to realize. Get up and stretch, because yes, you're sitting. Chances are you're looking down, you're reading a book, you're looking at your iPhone, iPad, whatever, and that's all in that bend over position. So definitely, even just sitting, kind of, stretching back is good. Standing, stretching back. I've been in airports and just laying on my stomach on the floor and doing some press-ups. It's like, I don't care what everybody else is thinking, and just, stretch. And you can do hamstring stretches, quadricep stretches, all sorts of stretches. Just kind of stay moving and don't be in one position for a very long time.
Yeah, and there's good content online that you can look at, and just simple hamstring stretches in seated position. Look at those, take advantage of those, and use them.
Yeah. They may be in some of our content. So if anybody's really interested in those, look at our YouTube content or Facebook, whatever, but probably YouTube is the easiest one to look at. We have a lot of stretches in there, and we're constantly adding content to our social media. So look for some of these stretches. They're really simple and they're extremely effective.
Yes.
So, all right. So now, Joey, so somebody does one of these things that they're not used to, whether it's to travel or playing baseball with their kids or whatever, and they start getting some pain. Obviously, do a little bit of stretching and see if it goes away, maybe use an ice pack or something like that. But, also, if that's something that's starting to nag just a little bit longer than you think, can they come in and just see you and maybe have a little talk with you to see if it's actually seriously a problem or not?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we do offer free consultations that you can come in and take advantage of talking with a physical therapist. It's 15 minutes out of our day, and yeah, we'll do a screen, anything we need to do to confirm that you are a candidate for physical therapy, or if you need to be referred elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Do you need to see an orthopedic surgeon, or do you need to see a doctor, get an x-ray or anything like that? Absolutely. And for some of the sprains and strains that people get, we have the MSK ultrasound that can actually take an inside look at the muscles, tendons, bursas and all of that. So definitely we can do that. So I definitely want to encourage people, if something's hurting just a little bit longer than a couple of days, come see us. We'll gladly look at that, because one of the things that we do is we educate people, right? Sure, as physical therapists, we stretch and we do manual therapy and we give you exercise and everything, but we also do a lot of education, and we just love educating people. So if you have some sort of an injury, come see us. We'll gladly talk to you and steer you in the right direction. Because what you don't want after your 3-week vacation, then be laid up for weeks and weeks or months and months when you do have to go back to your job.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
All right, awesome, good. Well, thanks, Joey. I think this was hopefully informative for everybody. So this is how we related physical therapy to summer, or summer to physical therapy. So look out for our next podcast, and thanks, Joey.
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right.
All right.